I have fallen into a rabbit hole. I think to this day, nobody really knows what happened. Is it includes something that should not have been discovered for another 300 years. There were UFO extraterrestrial beings that he got into contact with. He said that the US should fear enemies that are able to fly to each pole at incredible speeds. Then it got really crazy for me. And everybody agreed nobody's going to Antarctica. There is no actual information how many people got back. Satellite images are often distorted over there. Why is it that when you look up satellite images, they're all CGI, they're all composites? Somebody thinks that I don't believe in satellites. You will never find it. It gets cleaned up so fast. I feel like I'm going insane. None of them are real. So you can see the ISS.
Y'all gotta do it if y'all wanna get it. We were born ready, yeah, and y'all gotta get it. Y'all gotta move it if y'all gonna get it. We were born ready, yeah, and y'all gotta get it. Goddamn. Back to back to back to back with it. Y'all don't want it, buddy. Y'all just be.
Hello, world. Thank you for being here. If you're here, it's because you want to better yourself on episode 12. Thank you and welcome to. I said thank you. Welcome to Respectfully Disrespectful. We completely forgot to do the whole what episode it is, a few episodes in a row. So I think this is officially what, episode 12?
Episode 12.
Episode 12. The heat wave has attacked New York City. I mean, if you're here, you are sweating balls. You pretty much can't sleep without an AC. You gotta shower multiple times a day, and your back is gonna feel like a waterfall if you run to the store. So shout out to all my New York City people. It's only going to get worse. We're here together through the storm, whatever the weather, cold or warm. I think that's an Eminem, right? I don't. Anyway, how was your week, Igor?
Week is great. A lot of work has been done. Very productive. Can't complain.
Yeah, we had Igor comes with me upstate to help on the house with my parents. You know what's funny? We on our way to upstate, we stopped by a Dunkin' Donuts.
I was talking about studying, but I guess that works too.
Well, I don't care about you studying. It doesn't involve me. On the way upstate, we stopped by a Dunkin' Donuts, and Igor went to the bathroom, and I'm standing there. This was in New Jersey, I think. Yeah, and I'm standing in line, and this lady, I think, she grabbed something, and she goes like this to the cashier. She goes, "Thank you so much and apologies for all the inconvenience." And that got me so mad. Because you will never hear that in New York. In New York, you will never hear somebody be polite on the street, at a restaurant, at like a fast food place. You will never. That kind of like hospitality and just mannerism is something you will find outside of New York. I used to always think that's a lie. And then every time I would travel somewhere, one time I was in LA and I went to the store to get some like, what was it? It was some stuff for my friends back here. And this lady packs my gifts and she hands me the bag and she goes, "I'm so sorry that the bag is heavy." In New York, dude, you'll never hear that. Never. We don't treat each other like people, man. This is why they call it the concrete jungle. Everybody's an animal here.
I mean, you've seen that whole thing with recording videos of yourself walking up to strangers and saying, "Hello, good morning, hey, your outfit looks great," and so on.
Yeah, man, people, you know why? And you know what's crazy too? I think a lot of people who watch this who are not from New York, they won't understand this because I think most of the civilized world, they treat each other with respect. In New York, when you go upstate New York, so you're not in the city, you are upstate, people over there are nicer. And I think it's just something in the air. I don't know what's going on in the city. You're just pissed off. I get so mad when I see tourists in Manhattan. I get mad when people walk slow. I get so mad. When you drive, you get so mad. So that was a really funny thing. The other funny thing that happened while we were upstate was my grandma and my mom pulled up, and my grandma pulls up to the room and she's like,
"Say hello. They're going to watch this."
Yeah, hi to moms and grams. My grandma goes, "Oh my God, on the way here, some guy got hit. He was on his bike and a car hit him. So I'm like, oh my God, that's crazy. She leaves the room. My mom comes in. My mom goes, yeah, some guy was making a turn on his bike and like flipped over. 2 people in the same car, like 20 minutes before arriving here, witnessing the same thing, and the story's completely different.
What would you even call that? That's not like a broken telephone. That's worse.
That's just lying, dude. That's just fabrication, dude. Manipulation of facts. My godfather told me this story once. They lived also in like an apartment in Eastern Europe, but over there, all the neighbors are like friendly. You know each other and stuff. You know all the kids that are playing around. And he was telling me this story how one kid, something happened outside. He was playing around. He fell. And one of the neighbors saw it happen. She tells a different neighbor, she's like, oh my God, Timmy fell and hurt his leg. That neighbor then tells a different neighbor that Timmy broke his leg and his hand. So then that neighbor tells my godfather's dad, tells him that the kid broke 2 hands and 1 leg. And it's crazy, dude. People just manipulate things so much. That's why you just gotta not believe anything. Ever. You look like you have something to say.
I'm trying to formulate a sentence, but I don't know how. Let's just wing it. So, in Ukrainian, there's a way of saying that someone got hit by a car and, like, the life left their body. I don't know how to properly.
Okay.
I don't know how this whole YouTube thing works. Can't say the D word.
Yeah.
There's a way to say that that happened.
That they got unalived.
They got unalived.
Yeah.
And then there's a way to say that they got hit by a car and they're fine. And then people will just use them interchangeably, and it's very confusing sometimes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
I know. Yeah, I think the moral of the story is you just can't believe anything. Anything you read, anything anybody tells you, just think everything's a lie. And that's a really good theme for this episode, because we're going to be talking about a lot of things that contradict the mainstream narrative, if I could say that. I have another funny story that happened to me this week. This is probably the most ridiculous Uber driver I've ever shared a ride with. So I call an Uber, and this lady pulls up. So I'm like, all right, cool. I get in the back. It's one of those like SUVs. So I get in the back, and it's hot. It's so hot. I'm one of those people that I just take it. I'm like, whatever. I don't want to be that guy who's like, excuse me, can you open the window? So we're driving, and I'm sweating, bro. I have like little teardrops going from my forehead. You know what I mean? My forehead's crying. That's what that's called. My forehead is crying. So this lady, dude, this lady goes, is it hot? I'm like, yeah, a little bit. She's like, you want AC? Oh, she goes, window don't open. So I'm like, okay. Then she's like, you want AC? I'm like, yeah, please. AC don't work. Dude. So I'm like, what the fuck? We're just gonna suffer together in this hot car. Dude, it was so funny. I was just like, now I'm smiling, and like my whole face is just sweating because of it. It was just so, like, why would you even, like come on, lady, get it together.
I wonder if she's going to be working on Tuesday.
I hope so, dude. She's going to have, like, people are going to be passing out in the back of the car. She's going to be like, it's hot, and the guy's going to be like, it's just going to be like, there's going to be like tweakers in the car, just like.
That's cosplaying Americans.
Dude, oh my God, it was so funny, honestly. Like, I was always hoping for a funny Uber story, because most of the time the Ubers that I get, I just don't talk to them. I don't get why people talk to Uber drivers.
I do it all the time.
Yeah, I know.
It's so fun.
You're insane. Why would you do that?
It's so fun. Dude, I had a guy driving me get road rage, and then as he's driving me, he gets into the second lane, rolls down his window and starts yelling at the guy who like cut him off or whatever, and he's like, hey, pull over, I'm gonna beat your ass.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, okay, this is kind of cool.
Nah, bro. I'm trying to leave. Get me out of here.
It was fun. It was like 2 a.m. or something.
The city's just crazy, man. I don't know. I'm curious how many people have funny Uber driver stories who live like in the Midwest or something. I just don't think people over there are this insane. Nobody's in a rush. I think that's the other thing, right? Everybody in the city is in such a rush all the time that you start panicking and you want to get somewhere, and any little thing makes you angry. It happens on the trains all the time. You know what else I've started noticing on the train? And this is just kind of my problem now with like the white boy look. Why is every white guy, they just have an annoying mullet with a mustache?
What about the broccoli hair? Like,
that's what I'm saying.
High schoolers.
That's what I'm saying. They have the little like curly broccoli strings on their head and a mustache.
But you know what's funny? A lot of them, they actually get their like curls done.
I know.
I have
dude,
naturally curly hair, so
dude,
I can do that.
I blame Theo Von. Type. You know who that is?
I'm pretty sure I know who that is, but I'll type
dude,
it in.
Dude, this mullet thing and a mustache, like, it just pisses me off. That just Von. There we go.
Yep.
Now type in white guy, mullet with mustache.
Theo One comes up.
Hey man, I have so many theories about Theo Von, but white guy mullet with mustache. Yeah, dude, this like everybody has this. iDubbbz has this.
Do you know who Laserbeam is?
No, who's that? Who's Laserbeam?
It's this streamer. He got big on, I think, through Fortnite. He's Australian, and he literally looks like that too. Hold on.
Does Ninja? No, I don't think Ninja looks like that. Laserbeam?
I think that's how you spell it.
Lazar? Laserbeam mullet? Okay.
Well, this is his like shorter hair.
Yeah, I hear
he
what
used
you're
to
saying.
have like
just type in like Laserbeam.
Oh, there. Look at that.
Yeah, dude, look. I don't know where this came from. This whole like, I know that fashion does like this weird turn, right? In the 70s, 80s, it was like really popular to be like this hairy guy, you know, a chest full of hair, a thick mustache. And then out of nowhere, it became very popular to be like hairless completely, be like very, you know, like silky smooth skin. And now it's just going back. Everybody's rocking a beer gut and like a mullet with a mustache. And this has to stop. And it makes me so mad. Every person who's visiting here from the Midwest, they're all rocking that mustache. And they all look the same. They look like a clone. Like, can you imagine you're sitting there with your friend and you guys have the same haircut? How? You're like, bro, it'd be so cool if we both got a mustache and a mullet. And he's like, bro, my dad has that.
A flannel shirt too.
Yeah, dude.
Some jeans.
It's just insane. I get so pissed off when I see that. It's just, yeah. And now all the high school kids have like those weird TikTok hairstyles. There's just like curly hair. Man.
You know what they need to make popular? The R9 haircut.
Just like the little pube right here. Dude.
I think it'll be pretty funny.
I need to read up on that because nobody was rocking that. He just decided one day.
I think it was like before I don't know if it was a World Cup.
Or it probably was.
It was like some final.
Some international.
I think it was international because the picture is usually of him in a Brazilian shirt, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he got that haircut as like a meme right before a final or something like that. I don't remember the exact story.
Okay, then that makes sense. Like he did it.
But it wasn't like a fashion statement or anything like that. I actually know people who had that haircut because of R9.
Well, right, because people that I understand, but the first guy who did it, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
See me, like, my hair is the only thing I have. If I go bald, you guys are not getting any videos. Matter of fact, no one's getting anything from me because your boy is out of here, dude. All I have is my hair and like a few jokes, and that's it. You know what I mean? This personality. It's just it ain't it here.
You remember these haircuts?
Oh my god, dude, this is disgusting.
Yep.
Yeah, the little bangs, dude. Bangs is another thing I can't stand. I hate bangs. I don't get why some people think it's cute to have a little like a little I don't even know what to call it. It's like a little curtain for your eyes.
Did you know you can go blind if you have hair hitting your eyes all the time?
Yeah, dude, that was me as a kid though. I had my hair always like covering my eyes and stuff.
That's terrible.
I know. Well, before we get to some stuff we want to talk about, I did weigh myself today. So
Ooh. What is it?
We missed. So a few weeks ago, I was saying that I want to do officially a weight loss challenge because I feel like the best way to do these things is to hold yourself accountable, right? If you know it yourself, nobody knows it, nobody's checking you. It's kind of easy to gain weight and then be like, whatever. But if there's like a goal and there's somebody who keeps you in check, it's always good. So I took my scale, and I think the last time I weighed myself was probably like 8 months ago, to be for real. It was before the winter, so I was running all the time. The last time I weighed myself, I weighed 166 pounds. That was the last time I ever weighed myself. So I get on the scale, right? And, I'm looking at the number, and I don't understand why my vision's getting blurry. I'm standing there looking at the number, and I'm like, why can't I see it? And I realized I'm crying. Dude, the scale made me cry. And I'm looking down, and I see a little well, I officially weigh 180 as of this morning. So, but I will admit that I think over the past 2 days, I was kind of like not eating a lot and, drinking water. So I think it's easy to say that last week it was probably a little bit more. So as of today, it's 180, and we're going to be doing these once a week. And we're going to come up with a little punishment if I do gain weight. It should be something fun. We're going to think about it, but
we're going to get to see it next week.
Yeah. So, dude, no. I did order Chinese food yesterday, so. Dude,
and today.
Am I the only one who feels like this? Every time I order Chinese food or order pizza or something, I'm so happy, and then I eat it and I get sad.
Well, you get sad because there's no more to eat.
No, I get sad because I'm like, I realize I wasn't that hungry. You ever have that? Like, I'll go, for example, when I have a sugar rush and I'm like, oh my God, I want a candy. I go to the store and I start buying like 12 candy bars. I eat one and I'm like, I'm full. Why did I buy all of this stuff? And same thing with like, I know for a fact if I'm having like a Chinese food craving or something like that, if I eat like an egg or something, like some scrambled eggs, I'll be good. And that's like 1/20th of the calories of like Chinese food. But it doesn't taste as good, man. Sometimes you gotta let go and just make some sins, my babies. You gotta sin. Be a good sinner. Yeah. So on the lighter side, before we really get crazy, because I'm gonna reveal some insane things in this podcast. I mean, some really secret stuff that I don't think anyone has ever heard before. Before we do that, I was on the Twitters, as I always am. And we're 20 minutes in. Oh my God, bro. What are we doing? Well, so one of the things I saw that was really annoying, it's kind of funny because last week we talked about Will Smith releasing a song that was terrible. IShowSpeed released a song. I listened to like a very short amount of it and I was like, oh, this shit is garbage. So Igor's going to pull it up over here and we're going to check it out together. Hopefully it doesn't get copyright claimed. If it does, just Google it and take a listen. But, all right, let's go. Oh my God. The song is called Higher. I'm just waiting for the hook. Why is he so sweaty in the video?
I mean, this looks like Miami or something, so
Yeah.
probably hot. Or LA, whatever, I don't know.
It does look like Miami. Dude. Alright, you could cut it. Okay, we listened to about a minute 23 of this. Honestly, if that was the drop, because I was waiting for the hook, and the hook is just him going like, "Ha, yeah." That's it. Like, I don't know, man. This kind of stuff is not for me. How many views does it have?
So when I was checking it out today, earlier in the day, it had 4.1 million views and 332,000 likes on YouTube. This was 6 days after being posted.
Okay, and we don't know the dislikes, right?
Of course not.
There has to be. I think there's a way of finding that out, but
Probably.
okay. In the video, I mean, he looks really sweaty, and I feel like just I don't know. How do most people shoot videos in like the desert and they're not sweating or something? He also has like a hype boy with him, and that's always funny when like you're the guy rapping, and there's just like a grown man next to you being like, dude, oh my god. All right, well,
You know what we should do?
no.
We should whatever falls, keep it off the shelf and see how much stuff we will retain eventually throughout the months.
Well, it's always
potentially
over
years.
there. It's always like the one up there.
Well, I'll start there and then we'll go down the list.
All right. Well, either way, I personally don't really like IShowSpeed. I don't know if we'll ever get into that, but the song is trash. You know, I feel like Anthony Santana.
I like this a lot more than
the Will Smith one.
The Will Smith one. The Will Smith one was just weird for me. But this is not something I would listen to.
They're both unacceptable. Look, I have a good feeling that Speed probably had somebody write this for him. I don't think he came. I mean, I don't know. Look, I don't want to be that guy, but it's unacceptable. They both have enough money to do a way better project than they did.
100%.
Yeah. The other thing that kind of took the internet by storm a little bit was the whole MrBeast thing. So MrBeast posted a video where he basically introduced an AI thumbnail making. Was it even like a program? What was it? It was like
It's a tool in so he has this thing called View Stats. It's a tool for YouTubers. It shows analytics and stuff of like
Okay.
channels and stuff like that. And from what I'm understanding, it's a tool that got introduced to the browser. Like, it's not an extension; it's a separate website. So I'm guessing it's just a tool that got introduced. Yeah.
Right, so MrBeast came out with a tool, an AI thumbnail tool, and he got a lot of heat for this. He basically was talking about, I saw the video when it first came out. The AI tool would essentially allow you to pick a style of other YouTubers. Like, for example, you like PewDiePie's thumbnails, and you can like generate a thumbnail in that style for yourself. You can upload your face, have an AI generate an entire scenario in that style. I mean, essentially something that, you know, AI is already doing, like ChatGPT.
Well,
You need a good-
ChatGPT.
You need a, well, yeah, you can't. But what I'm saying is you got to obviously have a prompt and like explain to it what you want. But the whole point of it is that you're now just outsourcing like thumbnail making. You know, I think for the people who've been making YouTube videos for a long time, a thumbnail was a very crucial thing, right? Title and
it
thumbnail.
still is.
Yeah, thumbnail and a title were like the main thing that you need to get right on YouTube. And a lot of YouTubers probably, they hired people, I know that's for sure. But at some point when you're just starting out, you're either using Photoshop or other tools to design your own thumbnail. So now you're basically cutting that corner because you have AI that makes it. So we can watch that video together a little bit. I think it's interesting. I will say that he removed it after backlash, and we'll get to that in a second.
There's a new way to make professional looking viral thumbnails with zero Photoshop experience. And the best part is, this new method works in every niche. Whether you do gaming, cooking, beauty, this works for all of them. From creating custom results from any channel to literally being able to put your face on a thumbnail, it literally feels like cheating. This is the home of the AI tool where you can type in any channel on all of YouTube and it will use it as inspiration for the thumbnail it's generating. So for example, let's say you're MrBeast. You would just type in MrBeast here, Now it's gonna look at all my recent videos and get inspiration from them. And for the prompt, I'm gonna type in stranded on a volcano. And there you go, we now have a thumbnail with me dangling on the side of a volcano. This is perfect for inspiration, and if you do a couple iterations with the system, this is how you can literally generate your thumbnails going forward. Now let's say you don't want to take inspiration from a YouTube channel, you don't have to. As you can see here, I have a very descriptive prompt describing
I mean, it was kind of weird. So he deleted it because there was a lot of backlash that came out. I know Jacksepticeye came out and was really pissed off about this. He posted something on Twitter. And I'm assuming a lot of people did as well. Jimmy ended up deleting that whole video and saying that they're working on it. Thank you for all the feedback. So Jacksepticeye over here says, what the actual F? And he used my logo in the promotion for it too. I hate what this platform is turning into. FAI. And then, he linked the original post by Drama Alert. So, I mean, honestly, I get where he's coming from, but I'm a little shocked that that's the reaction. I mean, I think we're all understanding that AI is the next move in terms of content creation. And that's the thing that sucks the most, because creativity now is not going to be as important. To get a bunch of views, especially for a certain audience, if you're a YouTuber or you're starting out, you're not going to outsource your thumbnail. You're going to try to cut corners. You're going to try to... And then if, we're talking about paying someone to make a really good Photoshopped thumbnail, why would you do that? Save your money, and then you'll use this AI tool.
Well, you know what I feel like we should have done? We should have looked at, those websites that offer freelancing opportunities and whatever, and seen how much it costs, because this costs $79.99. And I feel like that's something that's not very accessible to new YouTubers or small YouTubers. Until you're getting really paid. But this is a
subscription for his service that includes this AI thing. Yeah. Okay, but...
Well, the website that he has, what's called View Stats, that one's free. But this specific service is what costs $79.99.
So it is expensive, but I mean, try Googling it out, if anything. Look up, how much does it cost to pay someone for a custom thumbnail, YouTube thumbnail? I don't know. Most people use Fiverr, I think.
Yeah, Fiverr. That's what it is.
Yeah. All right. So we're on Fiverr right now, and we're looking at how much it costs for some people to make your thumbnail. So obviously the prices vary. So there's $10, $15, $25, $50. Here's what I'll say about this. $80 subscription is a lot, but look at it this way: if this person takes 5-6 hours to make a thumbnail, some of them will tell you they'll get it to you tomorrow. And say you don't like it, they got to do it again. They got to take the time to make it again. While this thing, you could just make hundreds of thumbnails.
Yeah, I mean, with this, think about it like this. Let's say someone makes you a professional thumbnail for $50.
Yeah.
Even though there's options here that are 15. Whatever, let's do 15, right? How many videos are you posting a month? Some people post 1 a month. Some people post 8, 10 a month.
Exactly.
So it's I guess everyone just individually needs to put in the work to figure out if
you're posting once a month,
yeah,
then obviously you shouldn't get an $80 subscription. Yep. If you're posting a few times a day, a few times a week, then you'll probably think about it. Honestly, I think so. MrBeast came out and he was like, we'll take this into account. Thanks for the feedback. But what's the changes they could make? Not using YouTubers as an example, then why would somebody buy it? The whole point is that you look at some YouTuber and you're like, I really like these kind of thumbnails. I will do this.
Well, it feels like what they're offering mainly is they're going to do the dirty work for you. So instead of you going and searching for thumbnails and seeing oh, this works, this doesn't work, it just does it for you. That's about it. But realistically, you can just do all of that, the same stuff. Figure out a style that works for your videos, that some style that attracts more views, and just make a prompt for ChatGPT.
Mm-hmm.
And then, ChatGPT with the free subscription limits you to 3 generations a day.
Yeah.
But
if you don't have a subscription.
If you don't have a subscription. But ChatGPT subscription costs $20.
Yeah. So, yeah, but the thumbnails, if you're doing a channel with your face, ChatGPT is not going to help you.
Well, yeah. Obviously.
Yeah, so, I personally think that MrBeast is still going to roll this out. there's not a lot of changes they could really make to this based on like feedback. I don't really even know what that means. So we'll see what happens. But
Well, a lot of people are concerned about AI just in general taking over YouTube. Like so many more videos coming out.
it's
with
inevitable, man.
AI. I know it is, but you'll always have people that are rooting against the current thing. Doesn't matter what it is.
Well, look, that's just life, right? AI at this point is a tool. We've beaten this subject to death. AI is a tool, and people are going to be using it in colleges, in high school. They're going to be using it for work applications. You will use this tool if you think it will save you hours and hours and hours of work. And if it's going to save you time to post on YouTube and grow, you're going to use it. You're not going to sit there because some YouTuber with 10 million subscribers is like, I went through a hard time where I was sitting there at home for
So
hours.
should you.
Yeah, that means you should too. I agree. It builds character and it builds like, you want it more, you put in more work. But the reality of it is people are not going to do that. That's all.
Talking about AI in school, did you see a video? So I saw it a lot on Twitter. I saw it a lot on Instagram. There was a guy who showed off his laptop with ChatGPT open with his
in graduation?
final project. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which allegedly helped him do the final project. I don't know if he like just copy and pasted it or if it just helped him do it.
I mean,
but it just shows you like it goes.
Yeah.
I remember there were instances that I heard about where in elementary school kids were using AI and teachers were worried that they're not absorbing the content that they're being taught
Yeah.
as much anymore.
Mhm.
So it just ranges from like elementary school to all the way up to college and like high level education.
Yeah. There's no saving us, man. This is just gonna be the future, Yeah. Well, now that we got the lighter stuff out of the way, I'm gonna take you somewhere really dark. I have fallen into a rabbit hole, an icy rabbit hole. We're gonna be talking about the Arctic, Antarctica. Sorry. And this all started when I remember a long time ago I was hearing about this map that was made by an admiral in the Ottoman Empire. It was Admiral, I think it was Piri Reis was his name. Piri Reis made a map in 1513. Majority of this map is damaged, and I think only like a corner of it still exists. What's interesting about this map is it includes something that should not have been discovered for another 300 years. On this map, he includes Antarctica, and Antarctica is green. Now, the reason this map is interesting is because it has an accurate description of South America and Africa. And it includes Antarctica, but what's interesting is it shows it's green and it has animals. Now, what's all very creepy about this is that Antarctica was discovered in 1820. So this map has it, even though it wasn't discovered for another 300 years. What he said is he used older maps, so Greek maps, ancient maps, to help make this map. There were some that were rescued from the Library of Alexandria, which was burned. And then the remains were brought to Constantinople. Antarctica in general is a really weird thing because, we're actually going to get into why it's a very strange thing. But this map was interesting, right? Because, again, 1513 describes Antarctica completely different from what we know of it today as this, like, icy, landmass that there's, like, no habitation there. This takes me to a little after World War II. I think it was 1946 when the U.S. sent an admiral with honestly, it was like a fleet. There was like 13 ships, aviation, almost 5,000 troops. And this was supposed to be, it's called Operation High Jump. The point of this mission, now there are a lot of theories why we did this. I believe the official claim is for research, for training. They wanted to see how some weapons, how soldiers would be under those kind of weather conditions. It was supposed to go on for a while, this mission. And it was led by Admiral Byrd. So Admiral Byrd goes flying and he disappears for 3 hours. When he came back, he reported that he flew over Antarctica, and what he saw was land that was green. It was warm. There was like this citadel made out of glass or ice, and he saw animals that resembled mammoths. When he was there were UFO extraterrestrial beings that he got into contact with. One of them the leader was called the Master. What they talked about was the dangers of nuclear war. It was like a warning about what happens if society goes into a nuclear war with each other and the end of the world. This is what he spoke about when he came back, and he wrote about this in his diary. So the diary comes into question because there are no official sources of this. The diary just pops up in like the 70s or 80s. Some people say his kids found it. His son died in like 88 or something. Now, what we know is Richard Byrd was an actual admiral in the US. We know that this mission actually did happen. Now, the interesting part about this is that a normal thing to do when you're going on such a mission? If the point is for science, for, research, and maybe testing of weapons, is there a reason why you would bring about 5,000 men, 13 ships? You take a whole fleet over there. I mean, and this is why some people speculate that the reason they took a small armada was because they were trying to find remnants of the Third Reich. They thought that some of the Nazis made a base there. I think the base was called 122 or something like that, or 211. And they were hunting them. Now, when I started looking at, who got back, it was reported that not every ship got back. A few were damaged. And there was no official report on how many men got back. The mission ended up being cut short. They spent about 2 months there, even though the expedition was supposed to be much longer. It gets very cryptic. And I think to this day, nobody really knows what happened. The problem with these kind of stories is you will never know if it's true, right? Where you're looking for official sources, but official sources would never try to confirm such a thing. Now, there was a quote of Byrd's in a Chilean newspaper in 1947 where the quote was, he said that the U.S. should fear enemies that are able to fly to each pole at incredible speeds. This doesn't confirm aliens. It doesn't confirm what he saw or allegedly saw. But something happened over there. You're cutting this thing short 2 months. You're sending 5,000 soldiers over there. You're sending ships. Again, there's no actual information how many people got back. There's information that not every ship got back because there were a few incidents where they got damaged. And regarding aviation, same thing. So you got to wonder what happened. Why was Operation High Jump so weird? Why did it get cut short? Did Richard Byrd actually see something? People will always... Look, we as people, what we will do is we'll go on Google, we'll start ChatGPTing it, and we're going to start looking at what this actually all means. And what we're going to find is that a lot of this is probably not true. But at the same time, if you are a governing body, why would this be true, right? Why would you let people know this is true? So we're going to move now to the Antarctic Treaty. In 1959, the Antarctic Treaty was signed. So this treaty, I think, initially was signed by 50 nations, but later on, I'm pretty sure everybody agreed to it. Now, what this essentially does is everybody is in agreement that Antarctica is neutral. Nobody can have any ownership of it. No military presence can be there. Research can be done. So for science purposes, you can go there. But again, it's very heavily monitored. you can't just willy-nilly go to go to Antarctica and go walk around. It's very, it's under surveillance, which I think is the reason why so many people start having these theories, right? It's kind of like seeing is believing, and you're not gonna, if somebody tells you that you can't do this. The other thing about the Antarctic Treaty that's kind of weird is, how is it that all these countries, even ones that don't agree with each other, all agreed to this one thing? Everybody agreed to it. The US and Russia, it was a Cold War, and everybody agreed nobody's going to Antarctica. Nobody's going to have a presence there. No bases, nothing. It makes you wonder why. Satellite images are often distorted over there. You can't find a clear image of the tippy top of the South Pole. So, which then just raises some questions, really. What is going on? Because a lot of flat earthers, what they use for their argument is that because there's so much surveillance and control over the Antarctica, this is why they believe that there's an ice wall around the world. Because the Great Ice Wall, right? You can't go beyond, because it's going to have more continents that we're just not allowed to visit. Personally, I don't see how that makes any sense. It's kind of like, imagine new people get into the government and then you just think everyone's going to follow the same thing. We see it all the time. New people come into government, they wipe out the old administration's rules, they redo some things. Wars happen, disputes, and I just don't think that everybody would be following this one golden rule. But for some reason, everybody does when it comes to Antarctica. So then it got really crazy for me. I started thinking about satellites and, well, what do you think about this whole Antarctica thing?
I mean, it's interesting. There's that whole thing where no planes flying over Antarctica, and I feel like a hollow Earth has been talked about a lot in movies, cultures, like most notably probably King Kong, Godzilla.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's that whole thing with like hollow Earth, and there's like people living there. But usually in those types of movies, they're not depicted as an advanced civilization, whereas here it's suggesting that it is an advanced civilization.
Yeah, that it's some kind of art. Yeah.
It's interesting. I am a person that believes in absolutely nothing.
So would that mean you don't believe in either story, that nothing happened and something happened?
Yeah, precisely. I'm just drifting.
So a bunch of little bit of nothing and something.
Pretty much. It's just, you know what it is? It's like you growing up, they're teaching you one thing, and then all of a sudden this other idea comes along, and you start thinking about it, and sometimes thinking about it is too much brain power.
Yeah.
So you just forget about it.
I think that's the thing with these conspiracy theories, right? Is you start thinking about it, you start reading into it. And for example, today when I started researching a lot of this, I was like, well, why would you take like 5,000 people over there? Why would you take a lot of planes, if all you're going to be doing there is research, establishing a small base? Why would you do that? We're talking about harsh conditions, right? When you look at it, a lot of these ships got damaged because of hard conditions. So to test hard conditions, you would take 5,000 people? Why would you do that? Also, this was at the very end of World War II. You don't know what's going to happen next, right? We don't know what power is going to emerge. And yet they did all of this. It was cut short. Why was it cut short? There's official, and that's the thing, right? We're going to be hearing official claims. Like I said, none of this is really proven. You can't really prove this, right? The guy has been gone for a long time. This diary, we don't even know if it's real. We don't even know who has it, right? The story, the theory is that his kids found it.
Well, we don't even know if it still exists.
Exactly.
If it did exist.
If it did exist, where is it? How it got out. There's no official source. And that's what makes this, I think, a perfect conspiracy theory bait, right? Because it just leaves so much to the imagination. Everybody always talks about Antarctica, the ice wall, what's happening over there, bases, secret Nazi bases, during the World War.
I mean, I feel like the things that we don't know a lot about are the ones that interest us the most. Like I guarantee you can find a decent amount of conspiracy theories about like the Mariana Trench or whatever, or like the ocean. You know how they say that a majority of the ocean has not been explored yet?
Yeah, like 10% of it or something.
I guarantee you there are so many conspiracy theories, and we should definitely talk about some of them.
Yeah, the ocean was always like an interesting one to me. Why would he warn us about enemies that can fly from one pole to the next in seconds? Not in seconds, but
very fast.
Very fast, especially after that mission. It was really strange because at that point, it was just aviation, right? 46. I mean, we didn't go to the moon until 49. So, you know, what are we talking about here?
We had jets.
Which enemies,
in 46 already. Like, but they were subsonic, I believe.
Yeah, it was very interesting. So then I started getting a little crazier, and I started thinking about satellites. Now, hear me out, okay? Before somebody who's a smartass is watching this and thinks I'm a complete idiot, you're right. But if you listen to me carefully, okay? If Google satellite right now, everybody watching this, Google satellite, okay? Google satellite, and then go to images, and tell me. You can't tell me because you don't know me, but comment if you want. All of these pictures are CGI. All of them are composites. These are not real pictures. None of them are real. Now, I hear you. Okay. So I started thinking, right? Why is that? Now, what is a composite image? A lot of the images that come out of NASA of the Earth, this is another thing flat earthers always say. A lot of the pictures that come out from NASA of Earth are composites. What does it mean? They take there's going to be a bunch of pictures and they pretty much make it into one. Because the Earth is so big, you can't just take one picture of it, right? We're not far enough away from it to take just one little picture and boom, you captured the entire Earth. So what they do is they composite images. Now, I think we have like 8,000, look at these. How does it look? So there are about 11,000 active or satellites in general, right? A bunch of them are not active, whatever it is, right? These satellites go up to 17,000 miles per hour, okay? Very fast orbiting the Earth. So when you look at this image of a satellite, it's like a perfect image. Have you tried taking a picture of something going 400 miles an hour? It's hard.
Well, I mean, it's relative to what? Because when you're up there next to the satellite attached to it, you're not going to feel the speed of it.
Have you seen these images? Does it look like something up there with it?
No, of course not. I'm just saying it's just relative to like the rotation of the Earth, or what are we talking here?
I don't know. I feel like I'm going insane. What I'm saying is to capture, if you look at those pictures again, if you look at images of satellites, right, perfectly orbiting the Earth in space, you can't take that. Right? If that thing is moving 17,000 miles per hour, you can't take that picture and make it look perfectly still. Right? With no like weird blurry thing going on.
Unless you're moving with it.
Right, which again, and that's the other thing, right? 11,000 of them spinning. There were reportedly, obviously, some of them crashing into each other. That's totally fine. That happens. Debris are usually cleaned up very fast, and if there's ever a reported crash, you will never find it. You will never find it.
Yeah, they arrive at the scene within seconds.
It gets cleaned up so fast. Now, I know exactly how this sounds. Somebody thinks that I don't believe in satellites. Bro, I don't know anymore. I don't know. Because if there are 11,000 of these shits in the orbit, how is it that my phone has bad reception under a tree?
Not all satellites
I know. But guess what? Now Elon Musk is launching them up there as well, right? Why do I have bad cell service on a bridge? Why? So, again, like, it's just really strange. And this is the thing again. If you look it up, because this is what everyone's going to do. They're going to go to ChatGPT. They're going to start Googling it. And there's going to be answers like, yes, there are pictures. They come out of NASA. This is the problem. A lot of these people, and I'm only saying this to help you battle conspiracy theorists. The problem is a lot of these people do not believe official sources, right? NASA is an official source, like government sponsored and all that stuff. So, what are you looking at? Satellite getting... That's the ISS. That's not even.
I know. I'm looking for one.
You will never see it.
Well, right here. Look at that. They're inside of a station repairing it because that's exactly what I asked for.
I don't think that's what that is.
It's not a satellite. It's probably a station.
Look. I really want to be on the same page as you guys, but it's so difficult when, and that's the other problem, right? Hear me out. When you ask these questions, you sound like a buffoon. You sound like you have no idea what physics are. You sound like you have no idea what these mechanics are and stuff like that. And I don't, okay? I don't. I am a humanoid. I'm a monkey that's holding a mic talking to people. That's all I am. I don't know this stuff. But what I'm trying to ask is, why is it that when you look up satellite images, they're all CGI, they're all composites, they're not like legit pictures? If you now look up Earth covered in satellites, right? Because there's so many of them. Wouldn't you assume that it would look something like this? I mean,
for you to be able to see it like this, you would have to be that far away from
you
Earth.
can't even see this with a telescope.
Scale.
Okay, still, like, nobody.
For you to be able to see it like this, you would have to be far away from it. Do you like look,
how they're
look
in
at
orbit? They're in our. They're not like just floating around space.
Yeah, but okay. Are you trying to see it from here, from Earth?
Bro, all I'm telling you is how many times was I standing next to Verrazano Bridge and I see some shit go like this, and someone's like, "Oh, that's a satellite."
I've never had that. I've never
bro,
had anyone say that to me.
I'm telling you, I have seen people say that. Oh, it's just a satellite like moving. That's what you can see the ISS. You can see. Type it in. Can you see? Can you see the ISS? Can you see the ISS passing by or something like that? Yes. Now type in how far away is the ISS. Bro, we're getting deep, babies. We're going deep. We're going head first in this rabbit hole. 254 miles? Okay, fine. How far away are satellites? A regular satellite from Earth? 160 miles. Explain that.
That's
How do
160 kilometers, 100 miles.
Okay. So you can see the ISS from 200 fucking miles, but you can't see anything here that's 100 miles? How? Oh, now we're going to say they're microscopic like my,
I'm not saying they're microscopic.
I know, but what is it? 357 feet? Okay.
Feet.
Type in how big is the largest satellite? What was it again? It was 357 feet on the ISS, and then the largest satellite. Why is it so hard to find, huh? What is going on? Why is it so hard to find this information? How big is a goddamn satellite? Go to ChatGPT. This is why we're going to. This is why
ChatGPT is wrong. Throughout a couple weeks now, I have noticed a lot of stuff I use ChatGPT to find, and then I Google it. I get two different answers. For example, I Googled it and it said 13 ships. I put it into
70.
ChatGPT. It said 70 ships.
Okay, well, listen. At least we'll get some kind of answer, okay?
Mm.
Dude, what? Oh my god, this is insane. Even ChatGPT is like, "Do you want me to give you the entire history of a satellite?"
12.3 feet.
Hey, man.
Now let's see. So it says Landsat 5 is the longest one, right? Let's see.
I'm gonna lose my mind. I swear to God. I'm getting so heated over this. Yeah, I mean, my point is, like, this is exactly what I was talking about. You can't even find information on this kind of stuff. And this is why it's important to ask these questions, because these people who then run around spreading this stuff, and I know it sounds rich coming from me, right? Because I just sat here for 20 minutes telling you that satellites aren't real. I think they're real. It's just... I almost killed myself.
That's going to stay down.
I think they are real. It's just there's a lot of goofy, weird stuff going on, all right? And they're trying to censor it. They're trying to tell us that we're crazy, all right? And on that note, I want to tell you thank you for being here with me another week, for witnessing my schizo arc. It's only going to get worse from here. The rabbit hole dives are going to get head first. We're going to come out on the other side not the same as we came in, and I promise you that. So on that note, thank you for spending this hour on a Thursday or whatever day you're doing this. I want to send love to your mothers, your dads, everybody else in your family. Send this to everybody because they got to know the truth. And that's what we're doing here. We're building the truth. Subscribe, like, comment, and and hey, man, you know, I was going to ask for money, but we don't even have anywhere to send it. So
Soon,
maybe, you know, we'll have shirts or some shit like that. Shout out to everyone in Indonesia, and this is it. Thank you so much.
Y'all gotta move it if y'all gonna get it. We were born ready, yeah, and y'all gotta get it, goddamn. Back to back to back to back with it. Y'all don't want it, buddy. Y'all just be capping and the moving steady batting, but y'all can't hit it. Y'all was born ready.